What's up, guys? Back at it again. This time doing a different format of videos. Big face reveal. Today we're going to be talking about how Dead Hard is the best exhaustion perk in the game still. Pretty hot take on this, and in my opinion, I'm going to go over why Dead Hard is still the best exhaustion perk in the game, even better than Sprint Burst. In most situations, we'll get to that to the end, but let's begin. So what is an exhaustion perk? An exhaustion perk basically is one of the more powerful perks in the game. The reason why you become exhausted in the first place is so that you can't use it over and over again. These kind of perks include Lithe, Balanced Landing, Sprint Burst, Dead Hard, Smash Hit. They could also be thought of as a second chance perk, especially Dead Hard, because instances where you were going to die by the killer and be placed on a hook or be killed, well, now you get a second chance at life. You get to run him some more. You buy some time for your team, and that equals more generators being done. So to begin, I'm going to set a basis for what we're going to be talking about, and I'm only going to be considering top tier survivors and killers playing and using this perk in game, because I don't really think it makes sense to judge a perk's balance off people that don't really know how to use it to its maximum effect. And that's no judgment on them. It's just that why give your opinion on a perk's strength based on someone that's not using it to its full potential? So to begin, let's compare Dead Hard and Sprint Burst. Dead Hard is a very risk to reward perk. It's much harder to use than Sprint Burst, no doubt. But the reward that you get from it is definitely much greater. A killer could just W to the survivor that's using Sprint Burst, run to him, whack him again, especially if the killer has some kind of movement power like Blight, Wesker, Spirit, Nurse. You could easily catch up to a Sprint Burst. Well, now your argument might be, well, what if I run to a pallet or some kind of loop? Well, not all loops are god loops. Usually killers' powers can get a survivor at a loop after a certain amount of time. So using a Sprint Burst to get to a loop or pallet or a window will buy you some time, but not as much time as Dead Hard. And this is why. When you Dead Hard and you hit a successful Dead Hard, the killer is pretty much stunned for, 2.5 seconds. That means that the killer can't use its power to get closer to you. The killer can't just W key right behind you. Whereas with Sprint Burst, this is not the case. As this is my first time kind of doing a video like this, so please tell me how I could improve. Please debate me in the comments section. I'd really like to get better at this. I've been playing this game for 7 years. I think I have a lot of knowledge to share. Big ego inflation here. Please debate me. I'd like to really discuss this, and I'd love to hear from you guys what your thoughts are. Now let's talk about Dead Hard versus other exhaustion perks such as Lithe, Balanced Landing, Smash Hit. Dead Hard could be used in very unexpected situations. It could be used as a backup resource at the very last moment when there's literally nothing else to do other than use your Dead Hard, gain that extra distance, and possibly lose the killer. Whereas things with Lithe, Balanced Landing, you have to be at a specific tile to use that. And again, we just went over Sprint Burst. You don't necessarily have to be at a specific tile to use Sprint Burst, but it can be countered in some situations. Excuse me. There are also situations where you might be at a pallet, and as you know, if you Dead Hard, killer can't get you, obviously, and if you drop the pallet, the killer can't get you either. So it creates a very interesting mind game. Now we all know this. We've known this for a year now, ever since Dead Hard got its big rework. But the main issue that I hear today is that, you could only use it twice in a game. Well, that might be the case. You could only use Dead Hard twice in a game, whereas, you can 99 a Sprint Burst and use it multiple times in a game. But those 2 times that you do use that Dead Hard, you're going to get a lot more value out of it in comparison to any other exhaustion perk, because more often than not, you'll gain a considerable amount of time by using a successful dead hard, which can give your team enough time to do another generator, 30 seconds on a generator even. As I explained before, the killer is pretty much stunned while you run away with a speed boost. I was summarizing what I just said. Other exhaustion perks are very conditional, whereas Dead Hard you could still use at any time. Even though it's limited to 2 times per game, you're really not going to, like, I don't recall one game, like, okay, obviously I probably used Dead Hard 3 times in one game, but the amount of times that that's happened is very small. When a successful 99 sprint burst is used, compared to a successful Dead Hard will trump that any day, right? So again, going back to the argument, we are considering only top tier survivors here and top tier killers. So we are assuming that Dead Hard is hit each time. Last but not least, as we all know, Dead Hard gives you a third way to play, really. In the game, what's there to stop a killer from getting you? Well, there's pallets, there's obstacles, there's windows. Dead Hard gives you fucking invincibility. It makes really tense situations. You really have to mind game the fuck out of the killer to use it in a proper way. You could either spin around and fake the spin, fake a Dead Hard, spin around twice and fake the Dead Hard, go to a pallet, use the Dead Hard. So the premise that Dead Hard isn't great anymore just because you could use it twice. Name me on your hands. Name me how many games you've used Dead Hard more than twice in a game. Probably none, right? Or a very small amount. So this kind of ties into my conclusion for this argument. Dead Hard is still a really great perk. And again, at the end of the day, as with any perk or build in this game, it depends on the match itself. It depends on the killer that you're going against. And that's really the beauty of this game. No game is the same. No 2 games are unique. It's all dependent on RNG, map generation, killer, does this fucking piece of shit spawn in the middle of the floor and hinder my ability to do this, right? Point is that Sprint Burst and Dead Hard can be great in their own situations. The notion that Dead Hard is completely dead and useless, as what I hear nowadays amongst most streamers and the community itself, is that Dead Hard's dead, no one uses it other than, in my games I see it quite a lot with higher ranking players, but the general consensus is that Dead Hard is dead, it's not a good perk anymore. Well, it is. In most situations it's very useful, and it's probably just as useful as Sprint Burst, if not more. And at the end of the day, I guess my takeaway from this is that test things out for yourself. Don't just listen to what other people are saying. You might be missing out on a whole new way to play just because you're not using Dead Hard anymore. And if you think you're not good at it, well, then that's what practice comes in for, right? Keep using it, see its potential. Don't just listen to what a big streamer says or the general consensus in the community is that it's dead. People said that when the huge rework came for Dead Hard. People were saying the exact same thing. And after this newest nerf to Dead Hard, which I consider more of a balance patch, people are saying the exact same thing. Oh, it's useless, blah, 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 blah. So main takeaway of this game is that it's a beautifully complex game. Every game is unique. Use whatever perk combinations you want, and don't just listen to what other streamers and the community is saying. Try it out for yourself. One last thing I forgot to mention is that Dead Hard and Made for This is a godsend combination. You could be injured and be running with Made for This and still have your Dead Hard ready. When the killer gets close or is about to use their power on you, you could use Dead Hard again, and then, well, obviously you don't get Made for This, but you just got a whole 20 to 30 seconds extra of chase. So yeah, Made for This and Dead Hard are a great combination. I would really recommend running it if you really want to sweat your balls off. And yeah, you could use it with Sprint Burst too, but you'd have to 99 it. Sprint Burst and Dead Hard, same. Dead Hard, in my opinion, comes out on top in most situations. So yeah, very controversial take on this. Please tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. Wet my whistle a little bit and give me some likes on this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and have a nice day.